know.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Otherworldly Culture. We're here tonight with frequent Dead on Movie Reviews collaborator and co-founder of Horror Realm, Rich Dalzotto. How's it going, Rich?
Pretty well, and may I say, hello!
That's just for 10, so you're about a little over 2 weeks out from Horror Realm. How's the planning been going, and what are you looking to in the last couple weeks?
Planning's been going well, and the scary part is it's actually a week from tomorrow.
Oh shit, that's right.
Yes,
it is.
I wish it was 2 weeks.
I'm overestimating.
Yeah.
That's how time is for me.
You know, I mean, the good part is it was like riding a bike, getting back into doing this.
Nice.
And everything up to this point went smoothly, easy. The last week's always stressful just because there's little things you can't do until a couple days before or the day of.
Right.
And it just feels like it's piling up. But, you know, we've been through it. I mean, when you add the years that we did 2 shows, I mean, this is probably 12th, 13th, 14th show we've done.
Okay.
Not including Zombie Fest when we used to do that. So,
right.
So it's not. I mean, we'll get through it. It's not the toughest thing in the world.
Yeah. And you're doing it this year at the Crown Plaza near South Hills Village. That's the original hotel Horror Realm was at, correct?
Yes, that's where we started. They've always been great to us. We love the location. The only reason we moved was we were fortunate that Horror Realm was growing slowly before our little break, and we ventured into bigger hotels. And they were a little bit more central. You know, the Crown Plaza South, of course, is the South Hills of Pittsburgh, which, as a new person living here, you may not realize that there are some people who protest having to cross bridges and go through tunnels to go to a cool event.
Yeah, I'm kind of that way with certain things. Is if I want to deal with the bridge and tunnel after work or save it for the weekend.
You're already a native.
I am.
But that was one of the reasons that we went to the bigger hotel. Also, was more central. Though it's funny, more central but worse public transportation. This has really good public transportation because we're a 2-minute walk from the trolley stop.
Right, and food options too. The mall's right across the street. There's a ton there. Where I was at the event, the last Horror Realm actually before the break, and the area was nice, but it seemed like you kind of had to go out your way for certain things.
You definitely had to get in the car to go get something to eat that wasn't hotel food, and if you weren't that familiar with the area, the food options don't stick out. Now, just on the other side of the hill, tons of options, but again, if you didn't know the area,
then you're
you can't see signs for them. Whereas, like you said, the village, the South Hills Village, people can walk across the street. We've had guests in town that love being able to walk across the street and see a movie at night at the theater. So Bill Mosley, still when I talk to him about his first time here, he'll bring up, I saw District 9 at that movie theater.
Yeah. And speaking of movie theaters, I know I met you through the convention scene, but I don't think we'd actually really hung out until the John Carpenter night at the Hollywood.
That was our first real hangout because the conventions that we frequented together was either Horror Realm, and I was so busy I was a bad friend, or you were working at the other one, and by the end of the day you were tired, and then Exler and his 80 panels, he was tired, so I think we all sat in hotel rooms at that show.
And even some Wasteland, you and Exler were kind of working doors or whatever during that, so it's like a quick, hey, how's it going? But
that's why you had to move here.
Yeah, which I'm not mad at it. Love the area, been visiting for years, so just made sense.
Good. Yeah. Well, and you can be part of all this fun.
Yes, good times. And the Carpenter event took place at the Hollywood, which is unfortunately no longer what it used to be.
No.
For movie fans, do you have a theater in Pittsburgh you recommend that kind of captures what the Hollywood did, showing older films or niche films and showing mainstream at the same time.
The closest one would be the Harris, which is unfortunately downtown Pittsburgh.
Right.
But the Joe Morrison, who was managing that, was our manager at the Hollywood.
Okay.
And he was a big believer in the formula of what we were doing at the Hollywood, and he is doing his best to keep that same formula going at the Harris. So they've been, what was that new, for instance, what's his name? My God. Ghost Rider.
Oh, Nicolas Cage.
What was that latest?
I know which one you're talking about, but I can't think of the name of it.
They showed that down at the Harris. And that's the kind of thing we would have shown at the Hollywood. There's other theaters that just aren't, I mean, and I don't like to talk bad about any movie theater. I love movie theaters, and there should be more. But like Row House, they did a John Carpenter event. Shockingly, all of a sudden there was one on the schedule a week before ours. And it's more of the let's throw as much crap against the wall and see what sticks approach, as opposed to well planned out festivals or ebb and flow of the evenings of the week. Like if we program it this way, the week's going to flow great to get as many people in as possible, give people as many chances as possible to see these movies. It's not just as a lot of people think, hey, I've got a great idea, show this movie. There's more to it, believe it or not, than just that. You have to kind of learn the demographics and
you gotta know your audience.
Know how the different days of the week and times of day affect things.
Yeah, because I know when we got to the Carpenter event, it was kind of thin for Dark Star, but as the night went on, you could barely move around the Hollywood. I know we hung out in the lobby most of the night, and it was a killer event.
It was the last hurrah. That was the next day we were moving our stuff out.
And speaking of Exler, he's doing panels at Horror Realm again.
Yes.
How did you and him kind of hook up and he get involved with the show?
Well, that's funny. Not funny. It's funny to me. Probably nobody else. But I don't even remember what year it was now, but it was when we were still at the Crown Plaza. And I get this Facebook message. Hey, I have this horror page, East Coast Horror Group. And you and I went to the same high school together, but different years. Maybe we could talk sometime. I'm like, yeah, you'd have to throw the high school thing in. I want to talk to you anyway.
Yeah.
But it made it even cooler that all of a sudden I'm like, oh, here's another person into what I'm into that we came from the same world.
Yeah.
So we talked on the phone, if I remember correctly, at first. And I think he interviewed me, I think maybe over the phone for, I don't know if it was a live show or what. It doesn't matter. And then he came and hung out at Horror Realm that weekend. I got to know him better. Yeah. And since then, we just started hanging out more, asked him to do some panels. And, I mean, you see where the relationship's gone since then. Yeah. And I consider him one of my best friends. And it is really cool that not only did we go to the same high school, sadly, me many years before him, but him being from Bridgeville, where you now
currently live,
is where most of my family's from. And I have a lot of roots there. So it's
nice.
I think he and I are cut from a similar cloth, just a decade apart.
Yeah, and the guest list looks great for this show. You have Tony Moran, Judy Aronson, Kelly Maroney, Tiffany Shepis, Patricia Tallman, just to name a few. How'd you go about getting the guest list together for this show compared to previous years with the break in between?
This was an interesting one, actually. Over the years, I had built quite a database of contact info of agents or straight to actors and actresses. And I had kind of an idea of what I wanted to do for this show. And Tiffany Shepis, as you probably realize by now, is a really good friend of the show, but also a good friend to our family. And talking with her and telling her some of the names and the kind of the feel I was going for the show, she's like, well, let me text her. And I'll get back to you. And here's her number. Here's Tony's number. Give him a call. And I'll be honest with you, Kelly Maroney, Judy, Caroline Williams, those were all Tiffany. Tom Savini, that was me. Patricia Tallman, that was me, which I'm really excited about that. I've been after her as a guest for years.
Yeah, she's high on a lot of people's lists.
I'm hoping that impacts our door. You never know, but because that allows us to put on an even better show next year.
Right.
But she's so busy. She's got her own business and stuff, so she doesn't do a lot of shows. So I feel fortunate that she's willing to do this. She's flying back from Europe.
Oh, wow.
To do our show and then flying back to Europe.
Well, the tie to Night of the Living Dead 90, that's just, that's a real hometown thing for her to come to the show.
I think that excited her was, she said she hasn't been back, I think, since maybe filming that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And, of course, Tom was excited to hear she was coming. I was talking to Judy Yardson on the phone today, and she said, I saw Tom was going to be there. I haven't seen him since I filmed Friday the 13th.
Right.
So she's excited. There's a lot of community within the group of people we have this year. I mean, of course, Caroline Williams and Tom.
Right.
Together.
Texas Chainsaw too, yeah.
So I think they're going to have a hoot. I hope they also have lots of fans that come to meet them. And,
yes. Right.
But anyway, that's kind of how the guest list came together this year. And then the David, the Terrifier clown.
Oh yeah, or the clown.
There was a gentleman who Nerd Quest podcast contacted me, and he said, "Oh, I'm friends with him. I can put you in touch with him or his agent." I said, I like to have a newer person also, because for a 25-year-old, a lot of 25-year-olds really appreciate what we appreciate. But some of them, Terrifiers, they're Halloween or
their Nightmare on Elm Street, or even their Psycho.
Exactly. So I do like to try to get a newer person, but really the heart of soul of our show. And I was talking with Sandy, one of my partners, of course. Yes. Michelle and Sandy are my partners, probably the better of the 2/3 of the group. Really, what we've become, and I think it's the right place for us and for the size show that we'll always be. We are a VHS era convention.
Yeah, you totally are, but you're not too niche either. Like, you're kind of that sweet spot of VHS era where, I think the show I went to was 2017. You had like Robert Kurtzman, Jill Sholin, Diane Franklin.
Yeah.
So you had some names, like, I don't know how people compare names in the horror community compared to, like, how, like, Entertainment Tonight compares names.
Right.
But a lot of those were big names for fans. Even seeing William Butler there, I know he was high up on my wife's list for Night of the Living Dead 90 and Friday the 13th, so she was super excited to meet him.
Nice. He's a great guy. He's one I'd like to have back.
Yeah, he seemed like a great guy, and just, everyone we met that weekend seemed really great and just happy to be there. Good. So it seemed like a good time.
That's all we go for. I think I've told you this before, but maybe people watching don't know this. I mean, Sandy, Michelle, and I, we truly put this on for fans. We're not looking at this convention as putting money in our pocket.
Right.
We haven't made a dime on this thing. A couple years we might have lost a couple dollars, but we're fortunate. We have good jobs. We love this genre, and it's one of those things. If somebody doesn't do it, it's not going to happen.
Right.
And we have fun doing it, and that's why it's back. We had to take a little break. Life got in the way, but that's the goal. Is just I want to hear that my wife got to meet so and so, and we had fun all weekend, and that's and it took me a decade to realize what I just told you, that we're kind of the VHS era convention, or that's our sweet spot. But we're not gonna. I don't want to become Wizard World or Horror Hound. I love Horror Hound, but that's got to be a full-time job for those guys.
Right, and that's kind of what I find too about your convention is the price point for autographs. It's really fan-friendly. I know we had talked about this a couple weeks ago when we were at Black Forge for their High Priestess event. Just seeing certain lineups and then seeing ticket and photo op prices, it's disheartening for fans, but
it is, especially when you pile 10, 15, 20 of those type people. Like, I love the idea of a headliner, one of those type people, then, you know, I can pull $200 together for that headliner, and then if everybody else is $20, $25 that I want, not a bad weekend. But when you're talking $1,000, $1,500 to get all the people you'd like to meet, that's expensive.
Right, and that's not even factoring in, like, the admission cost, hotel, like, you're looking at, you know, maybe $3-4 grand before you even step foot into the show. So,
all that said, Michelle and I are, Michelle's a huge Supernatural fan.
Yeah.
We're going to one of the creation events in September.
Oh, wow. Where's it at?
New Jersey.
Okay.
Because the show's coming to an end this year.
Yeah.
So she figured the show, like, the guests may not do all of them in the future.
Right.
Holy hell, she got the gold pass. Oh.
One of my friends' moms, actually, it's one of my wife's best friends. We've become friends over the years. Her mom did a couple Walking Dead shows like that, but I get, you know, you're retired. It's
well, this is a one-time thing. It's not like you do it 2 or 3 times a year.
Right. It's, you know, it's like a trip to Vegas. You gamble a little bit. You may win, you may lose, but it's not an everyday thing.
I bought a general admission ticket, and I'll be sitting in the corner the whole weekend.
Sit there and just drink coffee all weekend.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I didn't mean to get off topic, but it's...
No, it's all good.
It is interesting to compare prices, and I don't... if that's a dream guest, like, I'd love to meet some of these people, too.
Yeah.
I can't fathom 4, 5, 6, 7 of them in one weekend.
Right, and even for me, it's like, as much as I want to meet them, can I justify that price? Like, a John Carpenter, Sam Raimi, I could justify a price, but...
I met John Carpenter at Texas Frightmare, and I loved their system, because the other part I hate, I can't stand standing in line for like 2 hours.
Right.
They did your 1 through 30. When we make the announcement, 1 through 30 went up to he was off in La La Land where they have to do autographs. But you went up, you got your autograph. They did 30 people while he was doing those 31 through 60 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Line up, and that was nice. And I think, I mean, I know other shows do that, but not all of them that are that big, and they should.
Right, yeah, I think that's a great idea, because it kind of allows you to do other stuff you want to do. If you want to catch a film or a panel, or...
Not everybody can stand for 2 or 3 hours either. Like, physically, not everybody's in great condition.
Right,
unlike us who go to the gym all the time.
Yeah, speaking of the gym, you've been training with Zach from Death Comes Lifting. Yes. How's that been going?
Great. I mean, Zach's a good guy, as you know.
Yeah.
And, you know, the fact that he has the same love as us with the horror, it just makes it fun to go to the gym. You know, he helps with my conditioning and my workouts. Plus, we can talk horror. I mean, you can't ask for more.
No, you can't.
It's funny. It's because of you that I realized that he was a trainer at the gym that I was going to.
Yeah.
Because you bought one of his shirts while you still lived in Columbus, and
like,
I saw some photo. I'm like, that looks like my gym.
Yeah, I don't even know how I came across his page. It may have been like a sponsored ad or something. And like, I'd done the gyms from like Plant Fitness to the YMCA to Anytime Fitness back to Planet Fitness, and I'm just like, you know, maybe if I found some like workout gear I like.
Yeah.
Something like that to help motivate me a little, and, you know, I'm just like, what's this? And then I interviewed Zach for the site, and we kind of hit it off, and from there, it's just, he's good people.
Now we're all gym buddies.
Yeah, we are.
So, and he's going to be a vendor at Horror Realm.
I saw that, so I'll definitely be sure to stop by his table and do coffee runs for him.
Yeah, well,
he'll need it.
There's a gym, you know, typical hotel gym.
Yeah.
I told him, I said, we probably should put our shirts on and get on the equipment and do a little live
photo
convention
shoot.
photo shoot. I mean, promote his goods.
Yeah, and he just dropped a new shirt that's pretty sleek looking.
I like the white sleeves.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
It's one I'm gonna have to grab for sure.
I got the tarot card. Well, you got that one too.
Yeah,
a few weeks ago.
I've got that one and the Friday the 13th one, of course.
I have that, and I got the Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah, I have that.
Well, I'm sorry,
one.
Night of the Lifting
Dead. Yes, yes.
Trademark pending or trademark. Who cares?
Yeah, whatever it is.
Cool shirts.
Yeah, it is. He definitely knows his audience, and he's just super laid back too, which is nice. Yeah. He's not in your face about training. It's like
he makes you comfortable. You want to do it. You know, I wish every horror person, because we are sedentary at times.
Oh yeah,
had a Zach near them.
Yeah, I mean, me having a desk job and working from home, if I don't go to a gym, I'm just sitting around all day.
I'm the same way. I'm desk job, and as you know, I've been on a quest to lose weight, down 40, 60 to go. Yeah,
awesome, doing good.
My son goes and works out. He has a team every Friday at 4 o'clock training, so John trains with him, and then he goes a couple days during the week, and Zach always looks out for him.
Yeah, he's usually there when I'm in there in the mornings. If not, have you met Josh?
I have met Josh, yeah.
Yeah, Josh is always there, so
I'm pretty sure Zach lives there. He says he lives down the road from here. I think he lives at the gym.
I think he does too. I think he sleeps on that little stretch out bed in his office or hangs from the ceiling like Dracula. So,
but after Horror Realm, I'm gonna try the Fight Club in the mornings.
I'm gonna show up tomorrow. I try and force myself to do the treadmill cardio. Yeah. I can't do it.
I get so bored by treadmill, so I might.
I do too. That's one I need something to keep me motivated. Yeah. I can go and lift whenever, but cardio's my downfall.
It's one of the reasons I play tennis, because it actually gives you a good cardio workout, and I mean, I like competition anyway.
Yeah.
But I get excited every week when it's time to go play tennis, because one, I compete, and two, I know I'll finally get the cardio in that I need to get in.
Yeah, and it'll help you with the after hours events at Horror Realm, which Friday night it's
nice transition.
Thanks. Friday night you have a couple of bands playing after hours?
We have quite a few. I'm sorry to do this, but it's easier to...
No, it's okay.
And I'll tell you a little bit about them. They approached us. This was another great, just the people of this town and the horror fans are great. They want to be part of things. And I got a message from Chris, his stage name is Ghost the Demented. And he, of course, I'm having trouble pulling everything up, but he said, we'd like to be part of this. We're not looking to be paid, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I'm actually buying a table to be a vendor.
Oh, that's cool.
And they're basically, there's variety amongst the acts, but the best way to sum up, it's horrorcore.
Okay.
So, just some of the names, the grimy ones: Morbid Psychosis, Primate, Nine Stitch Method, Demo Demon, Skippy Ickum, Ghost of Demented, and then they have some ladies who are part of this, kind of part of the stage show.
Awesome.
The Babes of Brutal Business Entertainment, they have a label that they're all under. So
okay, cool.
And I mean, they're bringing all the equipment. There's gonna be a drum kit for one of them, so it's gonna get loud.
Yeah, it'll keep the hotel up for the night.
Yeah, so I'm pumped. I like their music. I've listened to some of it, but I'm just pumped that somebody wanted to do this. Friday nights can be kind of dead at our show.
Right.
But they've got a following. We'll have our Horror Realm crowd there already, and I think some of their following will want to come to the convention that day or Saturday. So it's going to be good for everybody.
It's kind of one hand washes the other a little bit.
And they're just really, I've only met a handful of the guys, but they're nice guys. And
awesome.
that's who you want to be hanging out with.
Awesome. And Greg from Vinyl Remains is going to be doing a DJ set. Is that Saturday night?
Saturday party, yeah. Yeah, so that'll be fun, and he's excited. He was actually over here today.
Cool.
Showing him my equipment that I have, and he has his equipment, just what he's going to plug into.
Nice.
And plus he took all of Exler's and my VHS.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember you talking about that the other day.
Yeah, so. His record store is also gonna sell VHS, and he's actually gonna have some for rent. Just for the nostalgia.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and Mike and I have cleaned out some VHS stores, and it's been collecting dust. So I called Mike up today. I'm like, hey, he'll give us our cut. You want to get rid of these things finally? And he's like, just do whatever.
Yeah, I don't care. Just get rid of it.
Because neither of us want to store this stuff anymore.
Yeah, no, and like I still have a handful of VHS, but you just never know either if it's going to be that one time the VCR just shits a bed, eats the tape. And
I love the boxes. That's why I will keep some always. But as far as a media that I'm going to play, no, because just what you said.
Right.
Other people, they're more handy than I am. They can open that top up and they can fix that tape. And that's not me.
Yeah. So. No, it's like I had a Laserdisc player that did the auto flip and it just died, and trying to eject a disc, I took it apart. I'm like, I can't figure this out. And it's one of Mike's discs, so luckily I got the disc out unscathed, because he has some pretty rare ones in his collection. I'm like, I don't have to buy him a new one.
He's done a nice job with his collection.
Yeah, he has. He has a really nice Laserdisc collection.
Oh, that's Dr. Wang.
Yeah, go Dr. Wang. But
I'll apologize in advance.
Oh, it's all good. And
have you had any cats on your video before? Because
I constantly say I've not. Well, so this is a first.
There's Dr. Wang. Wrong direction, Dr. Wang. Oh, you're gonna show him your butt. So, but yeah, Saturday night will be a fun party. Friday will be a good party. The vendor room is going to be awesome. We have a good variety.
Yeah, I saw you have Time Bomb Toys, I believe it is. Fred Vogel and Shelby will be there with Toe Tag. Zach and Death Comes Lifting. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else I've seen advertised for the vendor room.
Well, T-Shirt Joe.
T-Shirt Joe,
will be there
Fast
from Texas.
Custom Shirts.
Yeah, and he designed the convention shirt.
Nice,
I did see that. At his table.
Yeah,
because it's easier for him to sell them than us to have to do it.
Yeah.
There'll be Zombie and Toys, who out of Ohio. They've been part of vendor in our show from the get-go.
Nice.
You'll probably recognize them when you see them because they always set up at Wasteland also.
Yeah, I probably.
Let's see. Boy, what's his name? Buzz. I call him Buzz. Jeff. Oh, it's horrible. Anyway, people will know the vendors when they see a lot of old friends have returned, some new ones.
Awesome.
I always Cinema Wasteland will be there.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Buzzworks.
Yeah.
That's Buzz. Sorry. And we always cut off at some point, like there's only going to be so many DVD dealers, there's only going to be so many T-shirt dealers. One for the variety of the fans coming, because I'm sure you've been to a show where it's like, wow, great DVD selection, wish I could have found some cool T-shirts, or...
Yeah, or, you have, like, just the VHS PS type dealers, and you get, like, 5 of those, and it's like, who's got the cheapest one, where you don't want to spend half the show just looking for one item. You can look for a variety.
Exactly. So, and plus, you want to give the vendors a chance to do well, because I say this on just about every show I do. At least a convention like ours, we couldn't have it without the vendors.
Right.
We could, but they really do help make it possible. Especially when we first got started, they take a chance on you. They give you their money. In this case, we sold out vendor tables like 8 or 9 months before the show. You have their money for that long, you better do your best to try to
get people in
help
the
them
door.
make money.
Yeah, and I saw Pop Culture Comics is sponsoring, and they're going to be there. And
such a great guy.
That's one store that's dangerous for me.
Yeah.
Every time I go in there, they have this British Night of the Living Dead one sheet. I'm just like,
I know what you're talking about.
I'm like, I've no idea where I'd put that, but I'm just like, if it's still here in like a year, I'm gonna snatch it.
If you're not careful, you might see it in here one of these days.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me, but
because I'm the same way. I'm like, oh my god, I want this thing so bad.
Yeah, I just look at it it's my first time seeing it. I've seen it like 20 times, but I'm just like, it's like the light shines down and harps are playing and whatnot.
That's a beauty. But no,
it is.
Ken has been he's been a great supporter of the show, and he asked to be a sponsor.
Yeah,
and I really appreciate. I mean, again, unless you're like a horror hound or something, it's not like you get. Fangoria's not knocking on your door.
Right.
They're probably not knocking on Horror Hound's door either. But you know what I mean. You don't get.
Yeah, you don't get the opportunities that come with the, I guess, for lack of better terms, a large scale show.
Yeah, and understandable. I mean, they need to use their dollars wisely. But yeah, it was really nice of him to do, and he's gonna, he always has cool stuff, toys, posters.
He does.
Magazines.
Exler and I are in there at least once or twice a month just to browse around because his inventory changes almost daily. I know at one time he had a giant pumpkin head figure, I think is a McFarlane one. I've got the regular one.
The 20, is it 24-inch?
I think
that
so.
Was Mezco.
Because
I have it somewhere behind the.
Yeah, I went in. I was like, okay, I've held off for this long. He's like, saw it the other day. I'm like,
yeah,
man,
it's a sweet piece.
It is. It's really nice, and he just has so much stuff there that it's easy to just walk out broke, I guess.
Oh yeah, I went like 2 weeks ago and. I'm like, where the Fang goes? He's like, oh, I pulled him for horror. I'm like, son of a...
Yeah, I think I think Mike and I were in there and we had just missed you because I ended up walking out. He had a Star Wars 58 first appearance of Boba Fett, and I'm like, it's my birthday weekend. I'm grabbing it.
That's a good issue.
It's in beautiful condition too. So,
but yeah, he'll have 4 tables at the convention. He's got a big setup. Yeah.
Well, that's where I'll be all weekend.
Nice.
So, just going through Ken's stuff. And during the off season or when you're not doing a convention, you also do the Horror Realm flea market.
Yeah.
Will we see a return of that in 2020?
Yeah, it'll be around August, sometime in August like it normally is. And yeah, we went back and forth on that, but since we're bringing the convention back, do we have time? We do have time, and it's not that hard to put on, and people really like it, and it's totally different vibe. It's just straight vendors,
Yeah,
and we discourage professional vendor. I mean, we want it to truly be a flea market.
Yeah, it has more of a craft vibe, which is pretty cool, and I know I'd gone a couple of times and we found some neat stuff, so it's always a good time to check it out.
Yeah, I'm glad you like it, and it'll be fun, and it's perfect too, because it'll be kind of like almost 6 months after the convention, 6 months before the next one.
Yeah, it kind of gives people that time to recoup. And,
so because there will be another convention.
Yeah.
Don't let the posts of Sandy and Michelle and myself when we first came back like, well, we're gonna do this one and we'll see. Now it's gonna be ongoing.
Yeah.
So don't let them see this. They might get mad at me but it's gonna be ongoing.
Well, and the town kind of needs a convention like Horror Realm to kind of keep its roots firmly planted.
I think so. We've got plenty of the ones we talked about before, the bigger, and hey, those are fun too. But
they are, but
not the same kind of fun.
Yeah, you kind of need the vibe that Horror Realms provides, I guess, for lack of better terms. It just has that community feel to it. Like, we're all here to celebrate, just not waiting lines.
And you can actually sit down somewhere when you're tired.
Yes, that's always a good thing.
because and I know that's a strange thing to say, but I mean, for instance, the big Comic-Con or whatever they call themselves out east from here.
Yeah.
There's literally nowhere to sit down.
No.
I don't get that. That's strange to me.
And it's like you just want people, if they need a few minutes to get comfortable, like,
well,
charge back up or whatever.
And that's how you build a community. Say, like, that you talked about, I think, like, what a few people could sit around somewhere and then, like, oh, where'd you find that? And then you start talking. And,
right. Or, it kind of rotates through, like, oh, where'd you get this at? Or, hey, what did you see this table? I overheard you talking, saying you're looking for this. Right. Try this spot. And
I can, when I go back through the years, especially when I start seeing some of the faces in a week or so, I can draw a line through. Like, I remember when that person was sitting in the VHS room and talked to that person for the first time, and look at them now. They hang out at Horror Realm together the whole weekend.
Right.
That's fun to see because there's truly, ties that bind there.
Yeah, there totally is. And I saw you have Flea Market Films doing the film fest this year.
We're showing a lot of local films during the day and early evening, including the guys who did The Barn.
Oh yeah, Justin and Zane. And,
they've got a movie. It's wow, I'm horrible at this tonight.
Is it 1031 Part 2?
No, this is a new one, and it's really cool. I watched the trailer, but I'm horrible. I don't know. Maybe the pressure is starting to get on again to me. Straight Edge Kegger.
Okay.
Have you seen the trailer for that yet?
I have not. I know Brandon Yates out in Indianapolis, he does a thing at the Skyline Drive-In. I believe he showed it over the summer.
It looks sweet, and
it sounded pretty funny. So.
Production value looks top-notch.
Awesome.
So, and that's going to lead into Flea Market Films. Flea Market Films does unique presentations. It's going to be 16 millimeter. There might be other forms of film too. Sometimes I've seen him pull out the old strips that you used to turn the knob in school. He zones in on a subject, and then he pulls as much media as he can to make a cool presentation that's unique. And this one's called Creepy Crawlies, but it's going to be horror related.
Right.
And it's it'll just, I have no idea what it's going to, all I know is it's going to be cool. And I might be asking him to stick around a little after. That's Saturday night at 7 because I think my 16 millimeter of Night of the Living Dead that I bought might arrive before then. If that's the case, I'm gonna be like, hey, can you throw this up on your projector?
Yeah,
we might
save me a seat for that one.
Yeah, well, it's gonna be I said I will show it at Horror Realm one time, whether it's this show or the next one.
Yeah,
and then it's gonna be private. And that's not to be greedy. I just don't want to play it too many times.
Well, you don't want the film to wear out or anything.
You'll get to see because it'll probably play right
in
front of you there one of these times.
That's just amazing.
Yeah. I was fortunate to get my hands on this and
nice
for a decent price, and the condition looks really good. So
nice. And what are your top 5 genre films? I don't think we've ever actually talked about this, so...
Genre meaning like zombies or slashers or
horror,
just top 5 films in general?
Horror in general. They don't have to be like, scholarly. They can be trash, whatever. Just your top 5 films.
I'm pretty simple when it comes to this. My top 3... in no particular order will always be Night of the Living Dead, John Carpenter's Halloween. Have to say John Carpenter's now.
Yeah.
And Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Okay.
Those are my 3, hands down. The other 2, it could change year to year. I'm a huge Carpenter freak, so you can always The Fog. Throw that in there. You could throw the Thing in there, and then I'm a huge Romero mark. I'm a Pittsburgh. So Day of the Dead. So really, it's a top 3 for me, and then the remaining
whatever your mood is.
Yeah. So how about you?
Number one, Freaks.
Yeah.
That's a movie that when I first got into the genre, it was through a book my uncle had. So I'm a 10-year-old kid in the 80s looking through this book, seeing pictures of movies like Freaks, The Wicker Man, some Hammer lobby cards I probably shouldn't have been looking at that age. So Freaks always stuck out as a movie I have to see. Yeah. So that's my number one. Then I'd have to say, to round out the top three, Burial Ground.
Yeah.
Italian Zombies. Don't think it gets as much love as it should. It's not Argento, not Fulci.
It's a great movie.
It is. It's weird that, when you have a 26-year-old little person, because I don't know what the proper term is, playing a kid that has an Oedipus complex. It's weird.
Yeah. And
number three, I'd have to say The Beyond.
Nice.
Hands down, my favorite Fulci film.
Nice. So you're a Florin guy.
A little bit, and then to round out my top five, it varies. I love They Live.
Yeah.
Depending on the day, that could be in there, or it could be Evil Dead 2.
Yeah.
And then to round it out, Pieces of Talent's a good newer film.
I love that.
That's one I never get tired of.
I actually have like 5 copies sitting on the shelf over there.
Nice.
Christy Ray used to always be like, here's another one.
Yeah, I know. Like, I think I ended up with 3 of them. I'm like, Chrissy, I have like 10 of these. But
nicest lady I've met.
Yeah, and not sure if you've seen it, but Corey and Haley Norman's The Hanover House
I've not seen that.
It's a pretty decent indie flick that came out around the same time as Pieces of Talent. So yeah, both of those easily fit in my top 5 just for newer films, because being a kid of the 80s and you being not much older than me, we're kind of in that same realm of like, this is our area, new stuff, whatever.
Yeah.
But
I like new stuff. I mean, I still gravitate to the old stuff as my comfort zone.
Yeah.
But I like to check everything out.
Right, yeah, because I'm a fan of I can't talk bad about it if I haven't seen it. So,
I will not talk bad about it just because it's different or new. That's not the best movie ever could be sitting there. Because, I mean, honestly, half the stuff I like is trash.
Yeah, same here.
But I enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, you've heard some of the stuff I watch on Dead On, so, it's...
I just feel bad for people who the 90s was their era, like Exler. They don't know the beauty of the 80s.
I know. I remember being like 9 and going to the video store. I could see the top shelf, and I'm sitting there like, I Spun Your Grave, Debbie Does Dallas, and the lady comes out. She's like, you don't need to be looking at this. I'm like, build your shelves higher. Then, like, they're eye level. I'm not like a little kid. I'm like, it's just odd seeing I Spun Your Grave next to Debbie Does Dallas.
Right.
But maybe that's how they did their adult section. Who knows?
The guy, there wasn't an adult section in the store I primarily went to.
Right.
But still the horror stuff, some of it you should watch.
Yeah.
Kids, he didn't care.
Yeah, that's how...
He rented me whatever I wanted.
Right, and that's how this was. There wasn't an adult section, but they thought they put everything on the top shelf. Kids wouldn't see it. Well,
this guy, he put the horror on display. I was telling Zach in the podcast.
Yeah.
It was called Entertainment Tonight.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that.
It was huge. This place was bigger than a Blockbuster.
Right.
And it had an upstairs, probably a little bit bigger than this room, lined with shelves and just all horror, and he did the room up. The lighting was all red and black lights and cobwebs.
That's awesome.
And he didn't care. Whatever I came down with, he rented it to me, and
it's great.
Yeah.
That's one thing I miss is I haven't been to too many video stores. We had one in Columbus, Video Central. Unfortunately, they closed a year or 2 ago because the landlord once put a paint your own pottery place in.
Of course.
And, we went there once a week and we'd rent like movies, take it back the next night because we were finding shit like Blood Car, Creep Van, or like, oh, you have Little Devil Doll. I haven't seen this in years, and you can't stream it anywhere.
Right.
And I think they had like the Trauma TV that Tiffany Shepis was in, and just they had mainstream stuff, but they had a lot of weird shit too. Like you could go in and rent Pink Flamingos. You can't go to like Family Video and get that, and
you can't even go to Family Video around here, as you've
found
out.
Yes. And we were in Millvale a couple months ago for the Fabio Frizzi thing, where he played the score to The Beyond, and we were walking around and found a video store there. I can't remember the name of it, but they sold and rented movies. They had like cardboard cutouts you could buy from like The Little Mermaid, like the old cardboard displays, and I'm like, I need to make it back over
I need
there.
To go there. Is it near the attic?
It's across from this tea place. I forget the name of it. I'll have to look it up.
It can't be. I mean, Millvale's not that big.
Yeah, like, it's maybe a 6-minute walk from Mr. Smalls.
Oh,
so
then it has to be.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to check that. I was unaware because that's why I'm excited what Greg's doing at Vinyl Remains with the VHS.
Yeah,
just
like,
for the nostalgia.
Yeah, and that's my thing, too, is like, you go into a video store now and you see the spines, but man, I remember VHS days, you just saw like the box and the artwork. And
we had a place called Incredibly Strange Video.
Nice.
Have you heard about that?
I heard you mention it on the podcast with Zach.
It was just down the street from where the Hollywood Theater was.
Okay.
A buddy of mine, Bruce Lentz, he became a buddy because I was fortunate enough to go to his store and get to know him.
Yeah.
But it started out as a rental place, and eventually became people wouldn't return stuff and cancel credit cards and all that. But he's a horror guy. I would argue there's nobody in Pittsburgh or Western Pennsylvania that has more knowledge about films, horror films, and offbeat films than him.
Yeah.
I wish he was out there doing more. He used to have he used to do this thing, Mr. Schlock. He'd dress up and
nice.
Yeah, and his store was it was a blast, and I miss that place every day. I wish.
Yeah, and even being like a kid of that era, you guys had Chili Billy, and we had Fritz the Night Owl. You don't really see that anymore.
No, we had a show for a little bit around here. That's actually how Sandy Michelle and I met, was through a message board for it. And it was a horror host show, and it did well. It's not on anymore. But every Saturday, it was great. I anticipated turning on the TV at midnight and watching this thing and talk to new friends on the message board. And that's the thing that's missing, that I don't know how you get it back to, I love the new technologies and everything. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But it goes back to what you were talking about before, the community, and everything's so on demand and so fast paced now. I think we're missing the opportunities for community. Right,
and there's the other night, I think it's Sunday, I told Bridget because she works 4 a.m. till 1 p.m. She crashes early during the week. Yeah, she's like, what did you watch Sunday? I'm like, I legit scrolled through apps for an hour trying to find something to watch.
Isn't it funny how that... Meanwhile, there's a million things you could and should be watching, but our minds are getting rewired.
Right. I'm just like, I settled on waiting. Because I'm like, I haven't seen it in a while and I don't need to pay attention to it. I can just veg out or whatever, where... Like, Shudder's good, but sometimes I gotta be in the mood to sift through their selection.
And they're doing a great job, but their catalog has a certain vibe to it. So if your mindset's not right at that particular night, it's just not the right place to tune in.
Right. Like, I think before the Dead On, I'd reviewed Summer of '84. I'd watched it 3 times because I dug it, but I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything because you really have to pay attention to that movie. I feel like that's how a lot of the newer films they have and some of their originals are, where they also have films like Pieces that you can just throw on and not pay attention to. So they've done a good job curating, but I think it's a way they break everything down. If I'm looking at horror comedy and then go to another section and see like 5 of the same movies, it's like,
yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
Don't break everything down by bits and pieces. Just high level overview it, and
I agree.
I
agree. But yeah, I'd love to see some form of community return.
Yeah.
I just don't know if it's possible at this point.
Well, I think it's kind of gone the same way as the hardcore punk scene. Like the punk label Bridge 9 used to have a message board, and I don't know if it's still around anymore. And luckily, you do have bands like Pittsburgh's Code Orange. They're kind of reinventing themselves with each album and the scene all together. So,
which, talk about community, I think I've told you, Landolina, the one band member.
Yeah.
I remember when he was a little kid coming to Horror Realm, and his dad I became friends with on that message board.
Yeah, that's...
and he would let him on a little bit on the message board once in a while. So it's funny that it just, I mean, like, you get to know people that way. And now look at this Code Orange and
they've kind of taken off a little bit over the years. I remember seeing them when they were Code Orange kids.
Yeah.
And then they'd done like a live version of Aleister Black's theme from WWE at an event, and now they're doing Bray Wyatt's theme song, and it's kind of neat to just see how like this band I saw at like a small dingy club in Columbus, Ohio, has kind of gone to the next level with each album.
Yeah, because you don't get to be part of the evolution like you used to. That's interesting. I don't know if that was your point, but
it kind of was.
Yeah,
and
even though it's not your talent or success, you still get that a little ownership of, like, I've been there since the beginning.
And I mean, not even that, but it's kind of good to see like people just being able to eat at the table, so to speak. Like, whether you're a fan or not, like, just seeing people going from being this small band to getting some recognition. It's kind of like, too, back to your show, going from the Crown to a different area. Like, even though you're back at the Crown, it doesn't take anything away. It just says, we know our audience, and if it gets bigger, we'll reapproach that. But right now, this is home.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's what makes me happy is those kind of vibes and feelings. So let's try to find more of them. That's the key.
Yeah, definitely. And I think Pittsburgh's a good town for that. Like, one thing I want to talk about, Collectibles. You're a big fan of Collectibles, so am I. We kind of touched on Time Bomb Toys and Pop Culture Comics.
Yeah.
For those coming from out of town that may not find what they're looking for at the show, what other stores in the area do you recommend?
Well, first of all, one other vendor that'll be there is Time Capsule Toys from Ohio.
Okay.
And he'll have a great selection. He's good. One of my best friends, Rick. And,
okay.
He's made some independent horror films too.
Oh, nice.
Toxic Shock Zombies. It's about basically zampons, not tampons.
No, zampons.
Making you into zombies. But no, I mean, Ides is a place, if you're from out of town, you should go to. They've got everything. You've been to Ides.
They do. They can be a little surly there.
You don't go there for the...
you don't go there for the surface.
There's no community there.
No, you go there because that's where you know you'll find it.
So I mean, that's a great place to go. You've got D&E Collectibles. Not huge on the horror though. They've upped their game a little bit. But you know, I find that collectors, it's not just horror. I mean, guys like us, look at Mike. His He-Man collection is growing.
Yeah, and my vintage Star Wars collection. So
D&E Collectibles is a great place to go to. There's a place, Pop Culture Connection, out in Greensburg, which is a little bit of a hike, but it's a great store. They do a lot of auctions online, and rather than me have to pay postage, I just pick it up. And awesome store. Yeah, a lot of cool vintage stuff. A great horror section.
Awesome.
Yeah, so those are the main ones to hit, really. If you're, but really you should just be at Horror Realm buying from our vendors.
Yeah, totally. And
but people like to explore when they're in town.
Yeah, they do. I know. That's what I used to do. I'd come in for a show, and then we'd either go to the Strip and get food and hit up Ides, or...
I mean, I think that's the best for an out-of-towner that's not familiar. Like you say, Strip's a great place to eat, and in Ides, you get to feel a little bit of everything there.
Well, it's right there on the Strip, too, if you don't mind the walk. Like, it's a couple blocks from the main Strip, and...
Or you can park in there's that garage right if you want to pay for parking.
Yeah.
Because it is going to be cold out.
It is.
But, the other thing people should, if it's not this time around, the next time, because hopefully they return, is go to the Monroeville Mall, and it doesn't look like Dawn of the Dead anymore, but at least you can say you were there, or go to Evans City and go to the cemetery. I mean, the fact that you can just walk into these iconic sites.
Right.
Obviously respect the cemetery. Nobody respects them all, so don't worry about that. But yeah, I mean, that's buy your stuff at the show and then go see the cemetery.
Yeah,
from Evans City. Yeah, I love it. Have you been out to the?
Yeah, I've been a couple of times. I took Bridget when we came into town 4 or 5 years ago to see Claudio Simonetti before we moved here, and we went to the cemetery, the museum, and the mall, and made a day of it. Then spent the next day in the Strip and at the concert. But the cemetery's nice. It's a good time.
It's cool. And then one place I haven't been yet, I'm gonna go when the weather's warmer, because it seems like it's pretty accessible. I'll take my chances. Is the little airport they used from Dawn of the Dead.
See, I've not been there yet either.
That's something for us to do this summer.
Yes, it is.
I think we're going to get a crew together.
Yeah.
Tell Exler he's going to sweat.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not afraid of sweating. So,
all I do is sweat, so I live with it.
Same here. It's hot out. I blink, and it just... But
we'll get Zach to go with us. He'll be the only one not sweating, probably.
Yeah, with his resting heart rate of 20 or whatever it is.
Well, I think we should make a trip. I mean, all these years and I still haven't been there.
Yeah, I've never been there. I know the Monkey Shine's house isn't too far from here.
And Creep Show locations.
Creep Show, yeah. It's just... Pittsburgh's a place of history for horror fans.
I think it was the house from Martin burned down a couple years ago.
Oh, man.
Yeah, one of the iconic locations did. I think it was the Martin house, sadly.
And that's a movie that doesn't get enough love. No. It's probably my second favorite Romero film.
Nice.
Next, Dawn and Night are tied for first, but Martin's right up there for me.
Dawn's up there with you? Because that's hit or miss with everybody. Mike, talk to Mike about Dawn.
We have a little bit. We've scratched the surface. But I don't know. I love it for what it is. It's not perfect film, but I think the study in the human chemistry, the way they interact with each other, I think it's more about them than it is the zombie threat.
I agree. And I love the feel of the mall with them in it too. Taking away the deeper element like you did, this is, if you were fortunate enough to be able to get in there, this is how I would try to survive. I would try to get into a place like that.
I mean, anytime I go to the mall, it's good to go get out of the house, walk around, but I just walk around. I'm like, I'm legit in Dawn of the Dead at any mall or store I go to.
Yeah.
Like it could be Giant Eagle, could be Walmart. You know, you just have that vibe of people just mindlessly wandering. And
you know, we had a convention in Monroeville Mall.
I think I heard you say that.
Yeah, we had. There used to be the old Expo Mart, which you would have loved.
Yeah.
And then they shut it down right before our next convention. And the mall was nice enough to let us set up. The whole top floor was all vendors.
Yeah.
And downstairs we had a stage and there was bands playing and we had a zombie walk on Sunday. It was good. It was so
nice.
That was kind of cool, though we couldn't charge admission anymore, all those things, but it was really cool to, like, hey, we're in the Monroeville Mall.
Right, and at the time you still had the bridge there.
Yeah, that's what there's still some of the JCPenney was still there. And,
right.
Yeah, so I miss that stuff too.
And that's one thing I'm surprised the mall doesn't do is give, like, tours of the filming locations.
There's that one show in the summer that they allow do some of the tours. That's the only time. The mall has always been, back to when we got the zombie walks set up there and stuff, very resistant to their history. Partly, I think, because they were just concerned with possible damage or...
Yeah, I guess if you don't know who you're going to get in there, it makes sense. But...
So I think they've come a long way, honestly, in the last decade since we started those walks, embracing the history a little bit better.
Right, and I saw they did put, like, a bronze sculpt of Romero's face in there, which I haven't been to see yet, but...
Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
So, yeah, they're kind of getting to embracing it.
But we're lucky. I mean, it's a lot of rich history here, and hopefully, you know, someday, 30 years from now, some kid will be telling us, yeah, there used to be this cool little convention called Horror Realm, and I'm hoping.
Or they'll be, that's a Giant Eagle Tom Atkins shop, that, you know.
I'll be the one still telling that story. Well, you could get to that Giant Eagle. It's not far from you. Maybe run into Tom.
Yeah, maybe. That'll be a chance to finally meet him.
The best was still when getting pumpkins down the road from here to one Halloween time with the kids. And I'm like, guys, you remember him, don't you? And they're like, and John was like, the fog. I'm like, yeah. And so, and obviously I knew Tom pretty well at that point. So but he's a great guy. You haven't met him yet?
No, I have not. He's one I've not met yet.
He did, well, of course you didn't live here yet. He did an event for us at Hollywood. And
I saw that, yeah.
He doesn't want to do conventions in Pittsburgh, though. He bent his rule last year. So I'm thinking maybe next year I can, because I have a guest or two that I want to bring in next year that I think he would want to be hanging out with them for the weekend.
That's cool.
So maybe we'll get lucky enough.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but great things about him, and he's one I'd like to meet.
So. Keep an eye on Wasteland, because he does do that every couple years, and that's not a bad drive.
No, it's not. It's only about an hour or so from here.
2.
2 at most, so it's not bad.
Yeah.
But you can find Rich at Horror Realm March 6th through the 8th. I believe I have the Friday right. So
March 6th.
Yeah.
March 6th to the 8th. It'll be a blast.
Yeah, I'll be there walking around. Tim Kretschmann from Dead on Movie Reviews is coming in from Wisconsin. And our own Michael Exler will be hosting a slew of panels.
Yeah, he's doing a bunch.
Yeah, he is. I think he's got, Caroline, Judy Aronson, Kelly Maroney, and Patricia Tallman.
Yeah.
So that'll be
Nobody
cool.
does it better.
Yeah.
Mike Watt's doing the rest of them, both Mikes are great at panels, and they bring their own unique styles, so it's nice. You get a variety.
Yeah, it'll be a good time. So make the trek to Pittsburgh, check it out.
I'm making weird faces now.
Yeah,
keep talking.
Go help Evans City Cemetery, Monroeville Mall, and see some history.
Yeah, and say hi to us.
Yeah, we'll be around all weekend.